right there, Latin 1. Time to learn a new tense. So let's talk about the pluperfect tense. Pluperfect. It translates as had loved. So Cornelia had loved. I will accept has loved as well. Anytime you see has, treat it as pluperfect. In a couple years, you'll find out that I've been lying. But right now, had and has are the same. It's the past before the past. That's how you need to think about it. Okay? And I know that sounds a little confusing, but we'll get there. It takes its stem from the third principal part, and then you just have to memorize the imperfect of sum esse. That's all. All right, so let's talk about how to conjugate the pluperfect tense. Step 1, take the third principal part. Step 2, knock off the ending, which is E. Step 3, add on the personal endings. This should seem pretty familiar. Also, you're really welcome for me breaking it down this way every time so you can just plug and play. But the personal endings are just the imperfect of sum esse. Eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratis, erant. Step 4, floss. That's it. It's just those steps. All right. So, take amo, amare. Okay? So that's going to be amawi. Knock off the I. Amau. And then amaweram, amaweras, amawerat, amaweramus, amaweratis, amawerant. I had loved, you had loved, he, she, it had loved, we had loved, y'all had loved, they had loved. Now let's take a look at where the pluperfect exists in terms of the timeline. And I just dropped the thing, so give me a second. There we go. So I told you it's the past before the past, right? What I want you to do is draw this timeline here. Okay? We live in the present, and it's a bubble because we don't quite know when the present began and we don't know when it ended. In fact, the present presents all kinds of problems presently. For instance, right now that I'm talking about is no longer the present because it's the past, because by the time I talk about it, it's already gone past us. The future is also a bubble. It's one thing that we will never know fully when it starts or when it ends, but we know that it's in the future. The imperfect is also a bubble because it's in the past, that's true. We know where it is basically, but we don't know where it started or ended specifically. I was running, you don't really know when you stopped or started when we're telling that story. It sets the stage. Now the perfect is that little dot inside the imperfect. We know exactly when that happened. I was running and then a bee stung me, right? You know when that happened. You know when it started, you know when it stopped, okay? So that's like a perfect moment in time, okay? While I was walking with my lovely partner, we kissed. Like, you know when that started and when that stopped. Boom, okay? Bee stings and kisses, very perfect. Now the pluperfect is the past, but it occurs before the past, and it's a single solitary moment. So before we were walking, we had put on our shoes. Okay? While we were walking, we kissed, or a bee stung us, depending on where your mind is right now. But while we were walking, a bee stung us. Before we were walking, we had put on our shoes. So you see how all these are interacting. All right, let me give you a couple of examples. Cornelius ante quam sub arbore sedebat, per agros concurrerat. Cornelius, before he was sitting under the tree, so that's in the past, he had run through the fields. So which one happened first? Was he sitting on the tree first, or had he run through the fields first? Say it again. Cornelius, before he was sitting under the tree, had run through the fields. Okay? Or if you wanted, you could have said, qui sub arbore. Cornelius, who was sitting under the tree, had run through the fields. You'd still get that he had done the running first. The next one. Ubi puellae ab urbi iter fecerunt, iam corpora viatorum celaverunt, or celaverant, pardon me. So when the girls made a journey, iter fecerunt, they made a journey, it happened, we know when it happened, they already had hidden the bodies of the travelers. So what did they do first? Did they make the journey, or did they hide the bodies of the travelers first? It had happened. So it happens before the past. And you can stack up pluperfects, by the way. Before I had put on my shoes, I had put on my socks. Which had I done first? Before I had put on my socks, I had gotten dressed. Okay? So you can keep stacking them up, these little pluperfect moments before the pluperfect moment. But the pluperfect always occurs before the past. It is the past before the past. All right. Here's what I want you all to do. Go ahead and read page 213. Okay? And then copy the chart on page 213. And that's all you need to do right now. Okay? Absorb all that information. Because next video we're going to be talking about exercises. Okay? All right, I'm going to hit the button.